Morning, trade pros. Welcome to the market update. Hope you guys are having a great day. And yeah, big question today is trade or fade, and we'll get into that a little bit later on. Morning market fun fact. Let's start there. On this day in 1862, President Abraham Lincoln, the good old Abe, signed the Legal Tender Act, LTA, which essentially put the United States government in the business of printing paper money. All right, gave them the ability to create as money as possible by the act of just hitting the print button. Imagine going to file print, printing some money. Since then, $100 in 1862 has the equivalent purchasing power of 2,554 today. So a huge loss of value in the United States dollar, which not surprisingly correlates to the exact timing that they allowed the supply to be unlimited and abundant by printing money. So interesting. That was in 2020. $2,554. So we got to celebrate that. Woohoo! That's today. Corona cases in South Korea is now, South Korea, by the way, is becoming the hardest hit country outside of China. They have 977 cases reported of coronavirus, up from 833 yesterday and just 31 cases a week ago. So exponential growth in South Korea, and I think that's where the markets were thrown off by. All right, country also reported 10 deaths linked to the virus for the past 24 hours. And so those numbers are growing. They're not being contained. They're actually getting a little bit more on the exponential curve from 31 to 977. All right, so that's where some of the concern comes out of. In that news, Congress has asked for coronavirus funding in the United States. The White House has allocated $1 billion for vaccine development to help potentially find a cure for it. All right, part of a broader $2.5 billion request to fight this coronavirus. The rest of the money is going to be used for therapeutics, face masks, and other essential tools. So, the United States, the Congress is preparing for what could potentially become an outbreak in the U.S. as well. I don't think it's a sign that they know there's an outbreak, but I do think it's a sign that they are at least seriously anticipating it if they're asking for $2.5 billion to spend. All right. When you have a huge government deficit, asking for that amount of money needs to be justified in some sense. And I mean, that's an interesting fact. And the details emerged yesterday. Now we know what it's going to be used for. All right, the Department of Health and Human Services, DHHS, has tapped into $130 million of emergency money to start combating this thing. There's some news sources this morning circulating that in the U.S., some of the cases are underreported. The true numbers aren't out, and a lot of people are curious to know what happened from those Japanese cruise line passengers who went to the U.S. Were they quarantined? How's the status of that? All right, so I think at this point, people are just looking for reasons to be afraid, and you're going to find them. You're always going to find them. There's a lot of websites propelling a lot of different propaganda and ideas, and also, conspiracy theories, a whole bunch of stuff. Some of it might be true, some of it might not. So be careful what you believe. At the end of the day, what you believe has absolutely no bearing on how you trade this market. Don't allow entertainment and your crazy mind to factor into a bias, because then you're going to be in big trouble. Because if you believe the world is over and the market goes to new all-time highs, you're going to lose all your money and the world is not over, which is probably a good thing. So be careful what you tie your ship to, because you could ride that thing to extremes. I know that for a fact. I know that when you have an opinion and build a bias around it, if you trade a bias that's predetermined in your mind, you're going to miss all the opportunity of the actual market. So we need to be in the real time. We need to focus. We need to read the info, but not allow it to affect us outside the scope of what's going to happen today. All right. So that's the White House. In other news, the New York Fed's 14-day reverse repo is oversubscribed yet again. They accepted $25 billion of $40.225 billion bids submitted. The good news is 40 billion submitted bids is much less than 115 just a couple of weeks ago. And so there is less short-term need for short-term liquidity. And that's a good sign for the Fed as they're tapering down their program. And they said that by the start of Q2 to the middle of the Q2, they'll be done with these repos and providing short-term lending. All right, this is all the need for liquidity. Liquidity needs arise at the end of the year and into the turn of the new year. So it's not surprising, but it is surprising how long it's gone on for and the magnitude of it. All right, in today's markets, Asia's getting hit. Japan's down 3.3%. Hong Kong's down, or actually up 0.3%. China's down 0.6. India's down 0.2%. In Europe at midday, London is down almost 1 percentage point. Paris is down 1%. Frankfurt's down 1% as well. So a bit of selling there. Dow, S&P, and NASDAQ are for the most part flat. They had a little bit of a rally overnight. Now the rally sold off halfway, so we're in the midpoint between the overnight low and the overnight high. Overnight low is also the prior day low, so we're closer to the low of the range than we are the high at the moment. All right. What you got to know is yesterday we broke below the 50-day simple moving average, the SMA. And in addition to that, we are at a level that is relatively close to the prior low. If you look at a chart, the low structures have just been tested. And I think there is a potential for buyers to come out and take out some buy stops today. Yesterday, the trade was to the downside. We got short. We stayed short. We did really well. Off the open, though, we bought it. And it was a very interesting trade because you look at the market, it was down 100 points going into the open. And in the trade room, we're saying, guys, look, when we're down 100 points, every trader and their grandmother and their grandmother's pet knows that they're going to short on the open. So if everyone's going to be shorting on the open, let's buy it. So we bought it, got a little bit of a buy stop run, flipped over to short side again, and then rode it on the way down to retest the lows. And that's the dynamic of the market. Sometimes what you think is the best trade is actually the worst one. You got to take the other side. A lot of trading is counterintuitive. What your average everyday person thinks will happen, just do the opposite. And, the market makes more sense that way when you think about it. All right. Crude oil's down 0.7%. Gold's down 1.3 today. So a little bit of profit taking gold. Bitcoin's down 2.6% to mid 9,000s. This morning, we're going to see some data. 9:45, Fed's Kaplan's going to speak. 10 a.m. consumer confidence. 10 a.m. Richmond Fed manufacturing survey as well at the top of the hour. 1 p.m. results of a 40 billion two-year note auction. 3 p.m. Fed's Clarita is going to speak on the wire. So we got some Fed speakers in the afternoon. And this morning, we got some consumer confidence data and manufacturing stats at 10 a.m. Those are pretty important numbers, and you should definitely be managing and monitoring your trades during that time. All right, so we got for the morning market update. Nothing wild. We do know coronavirus is spreading more actively in South Korea. We also know that there's some money being invested in trying to find the cure and then to supply some medical equipment in the U.S. All right, China, the picture is the same. And, end of the day, markets have priced in quite a big of a drop in the last 48 hours. So the question today is, will we break these overnight lows? If we stay above the overnight lows, I got a feeling that we get a little bit of a buy stop run, take the market higher, squeeze out some short positions. Weak shorts are going to get out. We all know that. Below overnight lows, you can start hitting this thing and sell rallies, no matter how shallow they are. Look for some more downside. All right, we have big support below. The annual year low is around 31.82-ish. Not to be back, but that's around there within a few points. So around those 31.80s, you got some key support from the annual year lows. All right, that's what we got for you guys. Love you all. Have a great rest of your day. Got to open up the trading room. Let me see some quick comments here. No, nobody's streaming today. It's 9:30. Forex Black Box. Have you ever been late for anything? Good morning, trade pros. All right, Marilyn. Good morning. A lot calmer today, Naren. Indeed. Which farmer will make money? I don't know. If I did, I'd buy it. Ashish, I agree with you. Said we're in a bullish cycle and a bearish trend. Maybe the pullback from the London session, but let's wait for price action to confirm it. That last sentence, Ashish, shows that you're really growing as a trader and also, looking for the right things. That's awesome. That's a good game plan. Forex Black Box FBB. What is the daily range limit on CME Group? 7% Forex, 7% on the day, and then 13 for limits. It's too much. Good morning. 3,000 will be hit. Oil is deflationary on interest rates. All right, guys. Love you all. Great commentary, great chat and discussion. Appreciate you all. See you tomorrow. Got to open up the trade room. I'm going to send it to Steven, talk about oil. Love you guys. Have a great day. Manage your risk, trade like a trade pro. And let's take advantage of today. Ciao. Goodbye. Boxy.